What's up, family? This is J. Dwayne Garnett with Love is a Parable, and this is a great show and a great opportunity where we believe everyone brings something to the table. It's Thursday. We're going to have a great conversation about current events, certain things that are happening, and how we feel about that. But before we do, I do want to give you an opportunity to get to know our panelists and our friends. So what I'm going to do is yield it over to the young lady. Look, to my right, go on and introduce them, tell them who you are, who you is, who you be. You got to unmute.
My name is Connie. I am from Sweet Situations. I have a cake business. I have a candle business and a body butter business. And I am on social media and this going live stuff is But yeah, that's me.
I'll brag on you a little bit later. So right up on the Connie, go on and introduce yourself, George. We can't hear him and he not muted. We can't hear you, brother. Nope. Why you getting that straight? We can't hear you. Go on, man. Go on and introduce yourself. You're muted, bro.
That was the best intro ever, too.
Look, we gonna hang up and then try this all over again.
Go by the name of Iconic. What? You can't hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Name's Iconic Bond, local hip hop artist, worldwide hip hop artist, community servant, scientist. Whatever you need me to be, I could be it. What's up?
That's that. You know what? I always forget that you are a scientist first. I'm like, that's my brother. That's what he is. That's it. George, is you back? Can't hear you. I don't know what's going on with that. So, guys, while we're trying to figure that out, first of all, Connie always try to be so modest, and then I gotta come in and I wish Cordell was here. If Cordell was here, he would have really got on you. But Connie is like a mega social media influencer. She got like 4 million people following her, doing all of those great things. She even can show like if you want to do great things on social media and be an influencer as well, get yourself up. She's even offering classes to show you how to do it. She done even posted one of her little $30 million checks she done got. Donations need to come to Love is a Parable. I just want to let you know we're a nonprofit. But she's doing great things every day. Like she said, every day she really is hustling, doing what she needs to do. Really to be, but most of all, you're positive. I can say that there's no junk on your social media, and you are always providing something with integrity, something with a space that I can say I don't mind seeing on my For You page or anything like that. You know what I mean? So we're gonna go ahead and jump right on into it. What's going on, Chad? So y'all ready for the first one? George, you back?
Yes, sir.
I still can't hear you.
Try to log off and log back in.
Yeah, log off and log back in and see if that'll help you. He did that thing fast. You saw how quick he did that?
Yeah. Let me.
Okay. So y'all ready?
Out of here. Yes, sir.
So we're gonna jump into it. Read it, Iconic.
Why? Kanye West destroys himself by embracing anti-Semitism. He has become the author of his own demise.
What are your thoughts?
Okay. See, I like to break things down a little bit.
You there, George?
First, I need to.
Can y'all hear me?
Yep, we hear you now.
Hallelujah.
Look,
I'm
before
sorry, my. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, bro.
you better go on and introduce yourself before your mic go back out.
Hey, listen, yo, it's your boy. It's my name is George Blakeney Jr. I'm a professional overseas international basketball player. I'm the CEO and founder of the You Can Foundation, and I am the owner and CEO of Legacy Cleans LLC. Um, I do a lot of things, involving myself in a lot of things, focusing on expanding and helping everyone in the world today. So I'm happy to be on, man. Let's get it rolling.
Well, good. One of the things that we was going to talk about is Ahmed just read before you got on how Kanye West destroys himself by embracing the anti-Semitism. He has become the author of his own demise. And Ahmed, you about to say? I like to break things down.
Yeah, I like to break things down. If we're talking about very most recent interview, the Drink Champs interview that he had, right? I didn't watch the whole interview personally, but I did pay attention to the parts where he mentioned people of the Jewish faith. There was a clip from that video that got removed.
Yeah.
For some reason, but he had, there was a Jewish guy that came in to the studio while they were having the interview, talk about how he loves Kanye and Kanye loves him and the Jewish people love Kanye, and they cut that out. That wasn't even in the original video that they had released.
That's true.
Okay. So that's one thing. Second thing, I want to define what Semitism means, because before we could call somebody anti-Semitic, I think we have to understand what the word. Semites are people that speak the Semitic languages, right? Do we agree on that?
Yes.
Jay looks like he don't agree. Okay.
I will see where we gonna go with it. You know how we do. Just go with it first. I want to see what you say.
All right. The definition of anti-Semitic has been for years been changed. The Zionist movement in Israel, the Zionist movement, that you are automatically anti-Semitic. So that anybody that says, I'm against the Zionist movement, and you're a person with as big of a following as Kanye West, they're going to call you anti-Semitic automatically. I'm not going to say that I agree with the way that Kanye West said what he said, and I'm not 100% certain why in this case he suddenly got canceled. As this is the first time in an interview where he mentioned the Zionist Jewish movement, and suddenly he got canceled. So as somebody who is close or understands to a certain extent, I'm not an expert at it, but understands the dynamic between the Palestine-Israel conflict, as somebody who knows people, I can tell you that anybody that speaks against them gets canceled. That's just how it is. Kanye West has said so many other things that should have got him canceled, but he never got canceled until he said the word Zionist. So I have a little bit of an issue with how we're quote unquote canceling people. It's not equal cancellation. I don't necessarily think, I think Kanye West been destroying himself but it's just interesting that it came to this point where suddenly, because he mentioned the Zionist movement, which is a powerful movement, by the way, it is America's #1 ally. America gives them the most money out of anybody in the entire world. They have the most powerful intelligence agency in the entire world, and they run Israel. So So anybody that's as big as Kanye that decides to speak against him, of course they're gonna cancel him. They don't cancel so many against the fact that America supports Israel because of that, because of what they commit. But because they're America's top ally, now suddenly you're anti-Semitic if you speak against them. A group that was originally founded by European Jews, they weren't even Semitic. So how are we going to call somebody that speaks against a political movement anti-Semitic? That doesn't make sense to me.
Gotcha. George, you got something you was going to add?
Nah, I was just. What was I gonna add? You can. First of all, y'all can still hear me, right?
Yep, we can hear you.
I can't really speak too much about the anti-Semitic or Semitism or semantic comments, because I don't know as much as my brother knows. But what I can comment on is I'm on the different side of the fence. I don't really believe that Kanye destroyed himself. I believe that he simply asked for what he received. He asked for he asked out of his contracts. He just went about a different way of doing things, saying things. We all know when he's off his meds, quote unquote. We all know when he rams and goes off the wall. But I do believe that he was just honest in what he wanted. He said what he said. He got the attention of all the hierarchy execs that he wanted to get attention to. He went about it in a strategic way, saying, doing things, acting out, speaking his mind, like Kanye does, and not giving any type of what. So I think it was a strategic move. I think he is now free of everyone that had him in any type of contract or negotiations or any type of chains, as he would say. And he's totally free now to do what he want. He, like he said, he care less about the money, and he don't care about who counsels him or who approves of his messaging. So I really believe he's at the place now where he can really do real work. He could uplift his community or whoever he wants. He can empower whoever he wants. He can do whatever he want to do because he has the demand of everybody. And we've seen this story before. We've seen when Kanye is quote unquote canceled, where he's dismissed, and every time he rises from the ashes. So I don't believe this is the end for Kanye. I just think this is the beginning again for Kanye. And let me remind you, like everyone that's canceling him or saying what they want to say, giving their opinions about him, let me go down the timeline for you. These are the same people who brought him to their churches to perform. These are the same for concerts and all of this. These are the same people that put him in front of millions of cameras, knowing who he is, knowing he will do anything he wants, say whatever he wants. The same people who gave him a voice, gave him a platform on any platform he wanted, gave him a shoe, gave him a clothing line. I mean, we did it. We opened that door. People opened that door. So don't be so against someone or speak down on someone when they want their own and don't want anything to do with you. Was his approach right? No. I think we can all agree his approach wasn't right. But the end result, I think, is what he wanted. And I think God will do the rest.
Connie, what you got?
Well, I really don't keep up with celebrities, so
Because you're a celebrity.
I don't know what's going on with Kanye West. I really don't. So I have no comment.
Look, and it's interesting because y'all know, because of the type of work that I do, I find myself always amazed by different people's perspective and different people's take on certain things. And I kind of go back to something even more. Um, there are certain things that aren't equitable on how we view people, period. So even before we can get into the nuanced portions of things of what is said and what is done, a lot of people aren't even willing to accept that this is what we're this is what a lot of people are fighting for is equality, and we can't even see equality in how we allow certain things to be done. um, I don't know if Kanye West is destroying himself, freeing himself, or what. I really don't know. Because depending on how you analyze things, there's this one podcast that my brother got me on who analyzes like Kendrick Lamar's albums and stuff like that and bring out context. I'm not that deep when it comes to these artists and things like that, but apparently there are some people who have time and they're able to kind of like analyze these things. But as far as me, I don't know, but I can see that it's amazing at the things we choose to allow to divide us. Meaning, the very people that have a disdain for Kanye, why are you sharing his messages? If somebody I don't agree with and I don't like, you won't see me sharing their content. You won't see me engaging in them or engaging any type of conversation about them because I don't believe in giving that energy. So apparently there is some level of infatuation with him, and there's some level of something that causes people to attract themselves to not only him, but to individuals that seem to cause any type of divisiveness. We seem to kind of like linger and long for that. Whereas flipping it a little bit, you have people like, Connie, Sage Queen on social media, who is providing good content in some type of way. She has been able to get her viewership to a place where people can see positivity. People can see things. Like when you look at Connie's work, there's nothing to argue about. You don't go over there saying, oh, she's damaging for the Black community. She's damaging for humanity. No, you don't have that. So I don't understand our attraction to divisiveness, period, let alone what is coming out of a person's mouth. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I find it interesting when we think about, like for instance, Ahmed was talking about his background. A lot of people may not know that he is Egyptian born. You know what I mean? He is truly an Egyptian. And so his connection to some of the things that we've read about in the books are a little different.
Yeah.
You don't have that connection. So when he puts out his music, it's about education and awareness. And then again, it's not getting the traction that it deserves because it's not divisive, it's educational. You see what I mean? It's so many different things that we can put our energy in that can bring people together, that can uplift, but we choose to kind of zone in on things like this. And then it causes a greater division through a ripple effect than something that is truly uplifting and positive. That's how I kind of look at that. And the thing about it is, if he is destroying himself, peace be unto him.
Right.
And if he is destroying himself, but if he is able to reconcile himself, peace be unto him. What he does doesn't change how I live life. It doesn't change my hope for restoration, my hope for people to be the best part of them. So even if he's on the deep end, if that's what he's on, I really do hope that he comes back into where he can explain whatever his journey may be. I don't believe in fully canceling anyone out because I do believe in the power of restoration and hope, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. I don't think we should be judging. We shouldn't.
Yeah, it's
we
just
shouldn't be judges. Let God judge. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
You're right. Jessica said she'll be back, and then Tara said, "Hey," but go ahead.
I was just saying, social media has gotten us to the point where anything that we see, we judge, right?
Anything we say
Like,
is
but it's even set up that way.
right.
There's a like button. The like is a judgment. You're judging whether you like something or dislike something. It's
You going in and out
set
again,
up
bro.
for people to come up with, and the honest truth is, we have no idea who Kanye West is. He's a book, and the only thing we see is the cover, right? You know the statement, "Don't judge a book by its cover." Well, that's the only thing we can see is the cover. So we're judging, and that's not just for Kanye. That's for anybody.
Yeah.
All you see on social media is the cover of the entire book, and yet we're judging and canceling, destroying all the world because of whatever, right? But I also feel like social media feeds us the opinions that they want us to have. If
And
you're
we want
not careful, right? If you're not careful, you're gonna jump on a bandwagon, not knowing whether that's truly how you feel about it or not, because you never gave yourself an opportunity to think about how you really feel about whatever the situation is, whether it be
Right.
Kanye, whether it
Right.
be whoever.
Right.
No, I agree. I agree. I was going to speak on the powerful statement you said, Jay, about when you put out certain things and how it attracts certain people to put you in a box or quote unquote cancel you. It's just like when we put out positive quotes or positive thoughts, it gets 1, 2, or 5 likes. If we put up a fight, if we put up something negative, which is attractive to everyone these days, it gets millions. It gets millions of likes, millions of traction. It can cause you to go viral. I think this is kind of like the same type of situation, in a sense, because all the good that Kanye has done, we won't see that, but we'll see all of what has encountered the last 2, 3 weeks. And I don't think that's fair to him, his family, or anybody, whoever does it. It's not fair.
Yeah, Bruce Leroy said, hey, how you doing, bro? He said he's a topic of discussion, but in all honesty, with no malice, I truly don't care. He also said social media is an open discussion format. When you post anything in a public format, you are opening yourself to praise and criticism. Um, I definitely agree with that. Um, but I also agree that there are some people who get cyber confidence. They have confidence from their keyboard that they don't have in real life. And they are able to say, do, and all of these things because there is a buffer between them and actuality. Um, and so they tend to rely on that heavily. I'm one of them that I have my thoughts. My thoughts are not going to change because of what anybody say. But I'm also one of those individuals. I'm not if it's my thought and I'm not open to changing that thought. A lot of times I'm not going to put it out there because it's not open for discussion. You know what I mean? I'm not one of them who talk about this my post, get off my post. No, if I put it out there, it's open for discussion. But if it's not open for discussion, there's no sense in me discussing it. And I think some people don't know how to manage that because they don't even know how to do it in real life. Like so many people go back and forth on their morals, they go back and forth on their beliefs, they go back and forth on all these things, and they allow other people to influence how they should feel about stuff. And that's what one of the bigger problems is, because a lot of people don't even know how they truly feel about a situation. Now, one thing that I will say that is often overlooked is that for some strange reason, it doesn't matter who it is. Whenever a Black American makes it to a certain level, we find a reason to devalue them. I
Hmm.
don't care who it is. No Black American has been exempt from that. And we have to change those conversations, period. This ain't even about just Kanye. This is about they're doing it to Beyonce. They did it to Oprah Winfrey. They did it to Whoopi Goldberg. They did it to Lauryn Hill. They did it to David Chappelle. And this is before any controversial statements came out. So I don't want to hear that. It's like whenever somebody gets to this place and we do it with Blacks in Black America, we'll say they're not all that.
Yeah.
We have to change that narrative about the energy and the things that we truly put out there, because what that is doing is stopping us from getting to the level that we need to get to. What you got, Sage Queen? You got anything over there besides enjoying the beautiful night air?
No, I'm just listening. I'm here.
Okay. Anything y'all got to say on that, or we moving on to the next one?
No, I believe that statement is powerful and true, because with that list that you just named, what do they do that's controversial that we could really say like they need to be canceled? I don't know of anything they've done that deserves even a conversation that's true. And I was just having a conversation today about that same thing. When we get to a certain status, as in Black Americans in America, with our own people, because those are the people we know, it always comes like this negativity cloud comes about out of nowhere. And it's like, I don't want to see you at the top anymore. Let's replace you. Let's throw you away. See if you can rebuild. And let's get somebody else up there, throw you away, talk about you. And it just creates an ongoing cycle that leads to some type of curse that we don't even know where it came from. So I think what you said was very true, and it sucks because we're supposed to uplift and empower everybody to get to the level that they need to get to. Everybody, black, white, purple, it don't matter. We're supposed to uplift everybody to get to a certain level or to the ultimate level they want to be. But we have a hard time doing that. And until that changes, then I think if it's not too late, we may be in a good space.
Definitely. I definitely agree. And I think that when we have conversations, Rita, y'all can't see her, but this is her. She said it's conditioning at its finest. And once again, conditioning. Um, those are great points. And I think that even in our education, like one of the things that bothers me about even when we deliver DEI education, this part of the discussion is left out. Um, how things are processed from an intra-racial relationship perspective, but we tend to focus more on interracial dynamics, and so a lot of these things aren't introduced. And so when you have a conversation of this level, or if it, of any, a lot of times people are fighting different types of values at one time. It's like it's a competition of multiple values, and they're trying to address all of these things at one time. Before we move any further, we got another guest on. So go ahead and tell everybody who you are, who you be, Miss Wendy.
Hello, everyone. My name is Wendy McAdams Flores, and I live in Hope Mills, but I'm a fighter by nature in the community, helping out um, with the homeless and all different types of things. But I'm all about God, and I'm all about, let's come together as one. So I'm just listening to this conversation that you guys are talking about, and it hits on so many levels. But that's the media, that's news, that's what we like, that's what society like. So I'm just here listening and just filling up my mind and brain with all this nice knowledge I'm getting from this group. And thank you for inviting me, and it's a pleasure to be on this group with you guys.
No, thank you. We're gonna get into some more things that Wendy is extremely passionate about. I met her when I was on the Ray Thomas variety show, and we instantly became brother and sister. And she's a powerhouse of knowledge, and she does great advocacy work about mental health and also advocacy in the community, dealing with grief. It's so many different things that she addresses in such a way. And she's not ashamed of her mental health journey. She's not ashamed of her faith. She's not ashamed of who she is. You know, I would say her only flaw is that she's a Delta. Other than that, perfect.
You had to throw that in there, right?
You know, I rebuke that in the name of Jesus.
So, real quick, Bruce Leroy said, "It's nitpicking, really. They find the smallest of flaws and do their best to blow it up. With Beyonce, it was who is she better than conversation that started her slander. Dave Chappelle was funny to everyone, and then to some, he went too far when talking about the LGBTQ community. So those are all actual things that we deal with. Those are all factual things that we deal with. And I don't think that a lot of us, well, Connie, let me ask you this, because you're moving into that larger social media area. Are you prepared for the celebrity that comes along with your influence?
Celebrity? What celebrity?
Girl,
What?
look, keep going viral. You're going to be a celebrity. You sitting in downtown Augusta now, just wait.
I don't know. I think I'm ready for it. I mean, I don't know. I don't have nothing where people can be like, she did this, and oh my goodness, she did that. So, yeah, I'm ready.
You ready for them to scrutinize everything? Where you
I
like,
mean,
can I get your autograph?
They do that now, so. Stop.
I love it. But that's one of the things that I think about is because with celebrity, you are going to lose a level of freedom. And I don't know if I'm ready for that part because I like having the freedom to just go to, Walmart or go to Walgreens when I just want to. And after a while, you will have to start thinking about safety because people develop stances based on their perception. It has nothing to do with whether or not it's true or not. It's how they may feel about it. People develop obsessions off of just an image. So it's like, am I truly ready for that? I don't know. Some days I'm like, whew, pass. Okay, we're about to go to the next one. Y'all ready?
Please. Yes. Anything but Kanye.
Okay, well, here we go. What are your thoughts on religion, spirituality, and mental health? Wendy, take it away. You ready?
Right?
Well, of course, Jay, you know my story. And just to give a little background, I've always been involved in the church. Grew up in the church. Had 2 grandmothers and my mom. There was 3 women, strong Black women, that was all about, you're going to go to church every Sunday. That's just, what you're going to do. I don't care what you plan on doing during the week. Stay out late Saturday night if you want. Getting up early morning, we going to church. So that was programmed into us early on. As you get older, you kind of find yourself in religion and spirituality, trying to figure out where you fit in. And you go through stages. And when you go to college and you get on your own, you start going through a lot of challenges with dealing with religion and spirituality. So with that being said, in 2021, I lost 14 immediate family members. Now, beginning of the year was my brother. We were tight as thieves. He was a detective in Newark, New Jersey. He was my heart, and he died of COVID. To say everyone else died of COVID, I think COVID played a part in their life. So when I lost my aunts, my uncles, and my cousins, and then at the end of the year, I lost my grandmother, I was like, God, I'm done. I'm done. I didn't know who I was because I was so stuck in this grief process. And when I was in New Jersey, I practiced social work. You know how to treat others, but when it comes to you, kind of back off taking care of yourself. You get caught up in the moment. You get caught up with grief. And with me, I never had a chance to grieve everybody. It was constantly, I had to prepare for this and prepare for that and go back and forth between, I live in North Carolina now, and I've only been here for 11 and a half years, but home is New Jersey, and I go to New Jersey frequently. So it was constantly, every 3 weeks, I'm going home, trying to be there for my mother, trying to be there for this person and that person. And then I got lost in the process of grief. And then I got angry in the process of it all with God. And I'm like, God, whoever in their life is prepared to deal with 14 deaths and survive, how can I survive this? God took my situation and he turned it around. In the process, I kept hearing him say, there's a reason for your pain. And I'm like, I love you, God, but you got some jokes because you can't tell me there's a reason for all this pain. Pain was so deep, I didn't want to be here no more. And that was real talk. I was ready to go. I was done because I'm helping everyone else. And people forget to say, you okay? How you doing? So every day when I wake up in the morning, I look in the mirror and I ask myself, am I okay? I call my mom. I talk to my kids, my husband, my circle. I need to know if you are okay. In the Black community, we don't talk about mental health. It's taboo. Don't talk about it. They may think you crazy, whatever that means. We got to start talking about it. And when I say talking about it, God has been putting me on this mission to fight, and not only for me, to use my story to fight and help others to heal, even my own mother, to help her heal, because she will not go through counseling. But to hear me go through counseling, to see what God has done for me, she's starting to listen. She's starting to hear. She's starting to believe because she got lost in that grief process as well. You got to have faith, even if it's just an ounce of it. You got to have it in order to push, to move, to pray. And that's one thing I never gave up was prayer. Pray answer things. I know it does. It did for me. I was in a dark place and I'm still healing. But God is putting people, places, and things in front of me to continue my journey and to help others. So most recently, I challenged the mayor of Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I said to him, during your campaign, you talked about mental illness, mental health, and that was going to be your initiative. I don't live in Fayetteville. I live in Hope Mills. It's on the outskirts, still close by. I do all my business in Fayetteville. Explain to me that now that you are, you came back as a mayor, what you going to do about it? He looked at me shocked at first because here we are challenging him. No, I want to make sure what you said is going to be real. So the mayor said that he has begun partnering with Cape Fear Valley Hospital and other organizations to try to get more beds, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's great. But if you don't know you're suffering from mental health or mental illness, how are you going to end up in a bed when you don't know you have a problem? Because I sure didn't think I had a problem. I sure didn't. I thought I was just freaking out from death. But no, that anxiety and depression was real. Somebody can walk right past me and smell like my brother, and I go into like, okay, Lord, just hold me. And It's real. It's real. It really is. Even going back home and seeing, my brother was a big time detective in Newark, and he used to come and visit me often. And to see a cop car does something to me, because on the cop cars in Newark, New Jersey, they have a rest in peace emblem on the car, and it has the officer's name. I get tired of seeing that. But now that I go up there, it doesn't bother me. God has given me the strength. He's given me the courage to fight. He's digging deep into my depression and anxiety and showing me some triggers and traumas. But these are things we have to deal with. So I asked the mayor what we're going to do, because hospital, and that's a long-term deal partnership, but in the short-term deal, what we're going to do. And he honestly didn't have words to really tell me at the time. So I challenged him. I said, I would like to be on your team. I would like to be on the team to help, because people will look at me and would not think that I suffer with anxiety and depression, because I'm a go-getter. I keep pushing. And sometimes I push myself so hard so I don't have to think about certain things. And that's real. When you have that idle time, you start thinking about it. And I still have not grieved everyone. I'm working on that process now. That's my next steps. I'm writing things down. I'm writing my book. I'm going to start my podcast. I am going to conquer this, and I am going to help other people conquer it as well. We look at the homeless. We don't know how those people gotten. We don't know how they got there. There's different reasons why people got there. So we got to stop being so judgmental, what we talked about previously, judging others and don't know the story. We have to start bringing our community back. I mean, bringing it back to the roots. And it starts with the parents. It starts with when these kids are young. And we have to start at a young age teaching these kids from right from wrong and not being afraid of them. I mean, there's many different things that play a part in just life experiences, but we have to learn how to make good decisions. And in making good decisions, we need people to support us. So the people we vote into office, they got to support us. So we have the right to go and ask for help. We have the right to ask for help for other people who don't know they need help. And that's my mission, to go out there to see who I can help along the way. Because I'm telling you, what God has done for me, if I look back 3 months before, I would never think I'm at a place right now where publishing companies are calling me and people are asking me to be on the television show and all these different things. But that's not why I'm here. So I'm picking and choosing what I'm going to do, because it has to serve purpose for me and for healing. I can't go into an environment that's going to try to make money off of me. That's not why God is sending me there. He's sending me there to help others. He's going to provide for me. He's going to give me the resources. And that's what he's doing now. And I'm just thankful that he's doing that. And I see it and I understand it. So now I'm challenging the people that are above office to help our community. What are we going to do for the short term and for the long term? Because long term, by the time y'all deal with that partnership, then you're going to have to meet a criteria, and everybody don't have insurance. And then you're only going to have 2 beds for people who don't have insurance or for charity cases. So now we're in another crisis. We need to talk about it now. So in 2024, I am bringing a project that was started in 2021 when my brother passed away. And this project was started by Gang Free Inc. out of Henderson, North Carolina. My brother was a giver, apparently, to a lot of different groups that I did not know about. And they have given us a lifetime grant of $5,000 until I say I don't want it anymore, to do something which we named Bryant's Love now. Mm-hmm. So I have also made sure the mayor talked to the council, because every other year I'm coming to Fayetteville and I'm doing this Bryant's Love project. And then the off years, I'm going to New Jersey. So every year this will be done. New Jersey, where we were born and raised, that's where the first one was. And what we did was we gave out $5,000 worth of outdoor play. My brother loved children, and he loved to see children play. And if they don't have things or resources to get play, he gave money for it to Gang Free Inc. And now they are giving back And now we have created the Brian's Love group. So I'm going to be inviting nonprofit groups to participate with me so we can get and try to do whatever it is to provide resources for the community. And I am challenging counselors to come out because I want a big group of grief counselors there. We are all going through, especially since the pandemic, we're all living with levels of anxiety and depression, but we got to talk about it. So I will keep you posted on when the Brian's Love Project will start, but it will be June of 2024, looking at the third weekend, and we're looking to have it at one of the community parks so we can have outdoor play available, so we can have a lot of space, so we can invite any nonprofit that want to come and be a part of this. So,
and also, Miss Wendy, when you get a chance after this live is over, go and put your information in the comments so somebody who is watching would know how to get in contact with you.
absolutely.
Also, you'll want to connect with Ahmed because he's actually a rapper, an amazing one at that. Not one of them, like some people you like, oh, they can rap, and be like, no, he's actually pretty good. So you do have those things. So I do want y'all to connect. And also, George does a lot of work through his UCAN Foundation.
Okay.
As well. He's an international basketball player, but he does give back, especially in his hometown of Tarboro. But he's very connected to the community because he went to school out that way too, so he knows a lot of people as well. So that'd be a great opportunity. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to challenge a lot of any entertainers that came from this area as well as Newark, New Jersey, to pour into, because I want to start a scholarship fund in his name to give back to Gang Free Inc. that gave back to us, as well as my brother was an avid bowler, and he used to give to kids who couldn't afford to go to conferences or competitions, and he would pay for them. But my biggest challenge is I have challenged Queen Latifah, who I went to school with. I've challenged Ice-T. I've challenged Michael B. Jordan and Shaquille O'Neal, all from Newark, New Jersey. I'm in the process of meeting with the mayor and the board. I want to have a bowling alley brought to the city of Newark. We don't have a bowling alley there. And my brother and a lot of people in the community always had to go to other towns to bowl. They have started a program where they have named the bowling teams in the high schools after my brother, but they're busing the kids out of the city of Newark. That's something I don't approve of. That's not what my brother would have wanted. So I'm really going to fight for this, because it's not only because of my brother and what he wants for the community. This is for family. This is for people, and this is for children and their families to be able to go to a place and have some fun in the bowling alley. And there hasn't been a bowling alley there since about 25 years. And it was on a border of Newark and Irvington. And that's back when Mayor Sharp James was the mayor, and he sponsored the youth league, and he had several teams, and I was a part of it, as well as my brother and his children that participate in the youth league. But the junior youth league is still on the books, but it just hasn't been, they haven't brought it back out again. And it's time. It's time. And it's time to bring it out. And when you bring it out, bring it to your city, have something in your city and not bust kids out. So that's my goal, to get entertainers from the areas where we're going to have this Brian's Love function, to get them out there so we can get people out there, because we want people to come from all over so they can get the resources that they need.
That's awesome. I definitely do appreciate that, and thank you for that. I'm gonna give other people opportunity to shed light on this. George, what are your thoughts on religion, spirituality, and mental health?
I think they all three of them are important. I think all three of them kind of intertwines together. Not so much about the religion part, but the spirituality and mental health, I believe, goes together. I think where you're strong at spiritually, and what you're able to tap into, knowing where your help comes from, I believe that can help you in your mental health journey. I do believe mental health is definitely one of the main challenges that we have to really sit back and say, how do we really tackle this, or how do we help people? How can we improve their status? Because the way it is really killing people, having a major effect on people, I think is very sad and it's damaging to families and to people in general. Like Sister said, you don't know how people got in certain spaces, but I also don't think we've done a good job at recognizing or becoming aware, or even opening up about how did they even get to this place, and what were the determining factors that took them over the edge. I think that's a main component that's missing today. As such as spirituality, I mean, God is my source. I mean, that's all I can say about He's my source. Um, whether you have a strong spirituality, have a strong sense of Him, I think if you have something of Him that can help you in your life or in your walk or in your journey, I think you're on the track of doing good. Yes, challenges come, victories come as well. And I think it's, as long as you're strong in your spirit, man, and it kind of pours into how you take on things mentally, I think that could really be the determining factor in how you approach things and how you go about your day. Because in all, we are spiritual beings. We're just wrapped in flesh. And when it comes to the mental side or mental health, like I said, I think it all goes into one. But if you're not strong in one area, let's say spiritually, if you're not strong in that area, then some type of deficiency is going to take place. And you're going to get attacked in some ways that you never could imagine. And that could really play a toll in your mental health because you don't know how to respond. And once you don't know how to respond, then the downward spiral comes in and all the other factors and distractions come in that could really take you to another place that you never thought you could be. And if you don't get some type of, help or professional help, then I think that just puts you deeper into the rabbit hole. And it's only going to take help and God to get you out. I will say that, I mean, I don't really focus too much on religion because I look at Christianity, and I honestly believe Christianity wasn't made, or it wasn't brought into existence to become a religion. I think it was made, or it is, a walk of life, and how you supposed to be an example. Like how close the door? How you supposed to be an example? Christ like. So anybody from a Christian to a Hindu, to a Buddhist, they're all spiritual beings. They all can be spiritual. Um, they all can be spiritual. Now I'll just leave it at that. But wherever your source is for yourself, I think if you tap into that and you really focus in and let that guide you, then it can really determine some sense of your mental health going forward. And I hope I did a good job of answering your question.
Ahmed, what you got, bro?
For me, as a Muslim, religion, spirituality, and mental health go hand in hand. I think all three are tied. Um, as a Muslim, the religion aspect is how you worship God. I guess I would sum that up, right? It's the rules and regulations in which God told us to worship Him and submit to Him. The spirituality is something, and kind of going along with what Sister Wendy was saying, for me, spirituality and mental health were not things that I was raised. Um, Religion was more of an action, right? Just like Sister Wendy was talking about going to church every Sunday. we have to pray 5 times a day. That was my parents' main focus. You got to pray 5 times a day, and the spirituality part really didn't hit me until I got older, until I had time to really sit with myself and see how I felt about religion and how I felt about God. And it took me going deep into a hole way far gone from God to be able to find that spirituality and bring me back even stronger. Mental health is something I honestly, and I'll say this honestly to everybody here, I didn't think mental health was a thing. I'd be the guy telling people to man up. Why are you crying? Man up. And Jay could tell you when me and Jay first met, I only had one emotion: anger. And it's because I put all the other emotions deep inside somewhere, so I couldn't, and that's just how culturally, that's just how we were raised culturally. Men have to be men. Men don't have time for emotions. You can't get things done if you're too busy sad, if you're too busy depressed. No, that doesn't exist. Cut it out. Man up. Do what you need to do. After I met Jay, Jay opened my eyes to something I never thought was going to be possible, to be completely honest. And that's to feel and be okay with feeling. And now mental health to me is one of the most important things. I fully believe in mental health. And just like Sister Wendy was saying, it's almost like God guided you towards this service that you have to give. I find myself, a lot of people who now are dealing with mental health issues for some reason find their way to me. Like, I'm not a mental health expert by any means, but it's almost like now that I am outwardly feeling and okay with talking about feelings and okay with having these conversations, that people now feel this comfort with coming to me, because it's now I've somehow created a safe space thanks to Jay. And I'm not saying that jokingly. That's real, bro. Like there's something, like you truly have done that for me, and I love you for that. And I now, going back to religion and spirituality and studying it as an adult at a deeper level, I find in our religion as Muslims, mental health was already there, but nobody talked about it. We only talk about praying, fasting, going to the mosque and giving charity and feeding the poor, and these are all great things. But there's a different aspect of it, and it's so interesting to me because growing up, I guess you can call me an Arab. So Arabs are pretty tough. They're tough men. We don't feel nothing. We don't. And as I've gone back and studied the Prophet Muhammad's life, I find that Prophet Muhammad was emotional. He understood mental health. He would cry in his wife's lap and tell her how he felt. And like, I compare that to how we were raised and culturally. I'm like, y'all completely miss this massive part of our religion and spirituality that surrounds emotional well-being and emotional intelligence and mental health and these and creating safe spaces, and for a man to be able to cry to his wife or his significant other and that be okay, and yeah, that I think they're all tied in. I think if somebody studies religion the way that it was meant to be studied and understands spirituality and how that ties into religion, you'll find the mental health right in the middle of it. It's all tied in together. God didn't want us to be, not cognizant of mental health. He told us to take care of our mental health. Like, it's amazing to me that I have gone my entire life, and I lived a pretty sheltered life up until high school and college. So I was around Muslims only. And it's crazy to me how how that entire period of my life, not one person had ever mentioned mental health. Not one person had ever said it's okay to cry. It's let's talk. Where's the, and create these safe spaces. None of that had ever happened before until now. So, yeah.
Thank you,
Hey
man.
Jay.
It's so much I want to say on that, but yeah,
Yeah.
what you got, George?
I was gonna say to Ahmed
Ahmed.
Ahmed,
Ahmed.
yeah,
Ahmed.
man, shout out to the Muslims, man. I played in Morocco and they took care of me, man, and I saw a totally different light and people, and I still talk to them to this day. But to speak on how mental health been around, like you said, with the Prophet Muhammad, I think we can also look in the Bible and look at David's life. I think he had a huge case of mental health. He fought with Saul and himself throughout the whole book of Samuel. So, like you say, it goes all the way back in time. And I also want to say, I honestly, and I think all of us can agree that we never thought mental health would be this potent in the land that we are living in today. If you say this 30 years ago, like,
Yeah.
it's no way anyone saw this coming. I don't believe anyway. And to see how it's taking people's lives and they're really going back crazy out here um, due to something that they went through in their life, I think it's really eye opening. And if we don't get some type of guidance and some type of solution, then I think we're in for a deeper case or cases of mental health. But yeah.
Gotcha. Man, thank you so much for that insight. I'm gonna wait though. Connie, what you got?
I feel like mental health is really important because I know when I grew up, it was like frowned upon. Nobody talked about it. It was secret. And it's like now, it's like people are talking about it now. But it would be great if more men would talk about mental health. It's they can't do that right now. It's like they can't talk about their feelings and stuff like that. And then like with COVID going on, it's like mental health is really like on the rise because people are scared, anxiety, and all that stuff like that. And so I feel it's great that it's being talked about now. So
Thank you so much for that.
mm-hmm.
Guys, thank y'all so much for all of y'all insight. I can't believe an hour done went by that fast. And
Mm-hmm.
I will honestly say that one of the things that Ahmed helped me understand is how much religion is rooted in culture. We talk about religion from from a standard way of doing things, but we all know, like, I was raised Baptist. Even though there were certain things that are standard in every Baptist church, there are also nuances that are influenced by certain cultures within that community that are different from other experiences. And so sometimes we struggle with what is a culture, a tradition, and what is also a religion. And because a lot of us struggle with that, it does create a blockage for that spiritual component, that connectedness to take place, which also adds to mental anguish. One of the things that I like, speaking of my faith, is I love when the Messiah went to Gethsemane to pray. A lot of people talk about that it was a threshing floor that he was praying, so he had to be pressed. I heard so many different teachings on that. But no one talked about the fact that it also meant mental anguish. Gethsemane meant mental anguish. So he was in a place where he was in a mental arrest and he needed to seek something to help ease this mental stress that he was dealing with. We don't have enough conversations. I do agree. There's more talk about the difference of religions. There's more talk about how this is better than that. There's so many talks about separatism. But there isn't enough true education because one of the things, fortunately, Ahmed and I also serve on the Holly Springs Interfaith Alliance together. And that forces you to not only know your faith, but be mindful of other people's presence. So the more that I go inward to seek my faith, the more I find myself being able actually to get along with people of other faiths. So if people truly believe what they believe and do what they believe that they would do, the division factor wouldn't even happen because you'll be so focused on being like whatever your creator is, whatever God you serve is, that you don't have time to look to the left or to the right to see any differences. Also, you will look at things in a way of saying, I know that I need help. And I can go to my brother, go to my sister, and say, I need help. How do I get this help? Mental health comes in so many different forms, and there's so many different ways. There used to be a time they used to call them shrinks and all of that stuff. You remember those bad connotations that was associated with it? But now you can get mental health services from the convenience of your phone. You don't have to go sit in anybody's office, but I do feel like a lot of times if you don't have a resolve in what you believe, you don't have a resolve in what you need. Me getting my mental health, I've been getting counseling ever since I was 21. So that's over 20 years that I've been getting mental health services. And if I didn't wasn't 100% confident in who I am and what I believe, I couldn't see that resource. And a lot of us need to spend time and say, hey, if I believe what I say that I believe, I also believe and know that I can get help. But we have some people, because culturally it was so deep, especially I can speak in the Christian faith. You know, they'll speak your help. Look to the hills from which cometh your help. But it ain't the therapist up there. I know what it means, but ain't the therapist up there. I'm looking to the hills from which cometh my help. And that's where I get my revelation. The hill is where I get vision. So the insight will say, go see a man. They missed that part. You get a vision, they tell you to go see somebody, go see something. And we don't do that. And we don't have enough healthy conversations about it because we look for these extreme, miraculous events and not realizing you talking to somebody is a miracle. The fact that you're still here is a miracle. The fact that all of us can name things that we have survived, and I know some people post personal stories, the things that we all have survived and we are still here, that's a miracle right there. Now add the things that you are able to talk about. It is a miracle. Like, when I laugh so much because Connie is so humble. She hates doing lives, but she'll do this for me. But she's a huge social media influencer. But she is sweet as pie and really can make the amazing cakes, like make amazing pies as well. When you look at Ahmed, you don't realize the dynamic artist that he is. When you look at him, you're in amazement. Like, he has one song, y'all. I'm going to tell you because it's going to be y'all favorite too. It's called We Here Now. He wrote that from a place of what he was going through with his people. And I was like, bro, everybody can relate to this, especially Black people. And when one of his latest events he went to, he had old people. I'm literally saying old people in rocking chairs and canes, rocking to We Here Now. And when he finished, he was sweating and everything. And they were like, do it again. And he like, y'all want to hear it again? And so that's what happens when people are focused on being better. They're not looking for things to divide. They didn't look at him and say, that's a Muslim rapper. They didn't look at him and say, oh, he's a young kid, or he's this or he that. It was something that connected us. And in that moment, we experienced togetherness. And so from this, I do hope that this is a conversation of many. And Connie, I accept your challenge. We talk about mental health a lot. We're going to continue to talk about mental health, especially from a man perspective. And we're going to continue to work on togetherness. Guys, I will be sharing you guys this information on how to stay connected. We are well over our hour mark. Wendy, we're going to get you back so we can talk more and more. Ahmed, George, and Connie, you know that I love you guys. And I just thank y'all
too,
for... Bro. Yeah, I thank y'all. Thank you, bro. I thank
Love
y'all.
you more, Jay.
Yeah. I thank y'all for carving out this time to speak to me. And everybody else, we'll see y'all on the next What's Up Family.
Yeah.